Alright everybody, welcome back to some more Sercacraft. It is I, Xilestar, and today... Oh my word, a lot of things have changed. Alright, so it's been a few months, and my mouse is acting very funny. Hang on. There we go. Hopefully this will fix it. Maybe something got in there. Anyway, so, a lot of things have changed, obviously. As you can see, we're now in water, and we have villagers here. So allow me to explain exactly what happened off screen. So as you might have noticed, when we left off, I believe I just had this house as my own. Hang on, I'm gonna mute them. I wish I could just mute villagers in general, but does that actually work? Okay, we're just gonna mute them because they're annoying. They're annoying me. I would silence them, but I don't really care that much to do that. Anyway, so at first I had this building. I don't know if I built this on screen nearly as much. Hang on. My mouse is not doing its thing. Come on. There you go, buddy. You take a little bit. So I don't know if I built this one on screen. I don't think so, but I might have done that later on. And obviously I know I didn't build this on screen. Anyway, the point is that like I built some things like I built a lot of this off screen, and before anybody says though that like, oh, you probably did it in creative, because apparently I got a comment about that like this series is not survival. It is apparently mostly creative because I kept switching between creative, spectator mode, and then survival. Okay, few things. One, the series. Okay, hang on a second. I'm gonna go try and find that book, for instance, so that way though you all get to see exactly what's going on here. But first, I have to use this. All right. So, the one of the few things that this series actually is that it's not primarily survival. You can play it survival, sure, and sooner or later I might do it this version. Not 100% sure. But in the next version, we will be strictly nobody will be opt pretty much, because everybody will have their own dimension data pack. Hopefully, we get all the features that we want. Currently, right now, it does work. I haven't installed it, but I just want to see if two functions can be used. If they can be, then I will implement them, and then we will be good to go. One of the few things that I had was because generating dimensions is still experimental, so it doesn't really work as a functionality as much as possible, and this keeps happening, and I don't know why. They keep congregating towards this little corner. Meanwhile, the bell's over here, so I don't know why they do that. Anyway, so as you can see over here, we have a cool thing. Okay, whatever. We have a wall of chests over here that are obviously different blocks that we got from the trial chamber. I've done a huge, significant progress towards breaking it down. I think I'm about 95. We'll say 90. We'll do a nice 90% done of everything. So here's like all the tough bricks that I've collected. so yeah, so we have I've collected a lot of them. And then here's just like the polished ones. So pretty much all this is all there kind of thing. Some of the stuff, I think it's like, yeah, this, I put them all into one chest pretty much, because I don't think the trial chamber that we have is a big one that like it has like it's expansive. It just looks very big because of like two rooms pretty much, but that's pretty much it. And I made sure to stay close within the confines of the trial chamber, so I have missed a few items kind of thing. This actually isn't the first, like the diamond pickaxe that I had before. This is actually a second one, I believe, or third one, I think. Right? Yeah, like I could still make another one. But yeah, so I kind of journeyed around, and then later on, I ended up getting a few mods. As you can see, this inventory one is amazing. It allows me to do this, which is awesome. I love this mod in 1.12, but for some reason it got discontinued. Like the person didn't want to continue working on it for some odd reason. I don't want to go with anything technical, but it's a very good mod to sort of go by. And as you can see, though, this is the mod's name. The thing is that like this was up to date, like literally yesterday. So either the or not yesterday, it was last week. I think I tested around the server. No, was it last week or was it Sunday? It was like I think I tested it on Sunday, right? Yeah, so it's Sunday, so 3 days ago. If we count today, yesterday, and the day before, yeah, so the 28th of July. I tested out this entire thing. So don't worry. I did a little bit of the data pack testing here, and it kind of corrupted my player data. Oops. But I was able to get everything back, so my level is probably a little bit messed up, but everything else was fine. Like I pretty much was able to recover some of the items that I had before. So yeah. So anyway, I'm mostly just waiting for it to be night. So let me give you guys a tour of what I call the compound. So these are farms. I wanted to kind of keep the same how do you call it, like the same design as the different farms in the villages. Unfortunately, a lot of them are very inconsistent with what they were or with like what they can provide. So I chose to just go with a simple 7x7 cube kind of thing with the composter in the middle so that we can have farmers kind of thing, and then just keep it like that. And I thought that would be a very cool idea. And obviously this is where we store all of our food and stuff like that. Ignore this. This is actually kind of funny, and I will get to that in a second. Over here was just for an expansion thing, but I might not even go with it anymore. And over here is our little blacksmith area. I chose to change this cobblestone into blast furnaces, but facing inward kind of thing, or towards this lava kind of thing. So though it looks like it's just a random little like table kind of thing, I think it looks really cool. Then we have a smithing table over here, obviously. Then over here we have like our little like shelving corner that I keep tossing things in here, like the stone cutter, the grinding table, and the fletching table. And then obviously I have this stuff. So this is like dyes and stuff. This is pretty much things I can't be bothered to throw into storage. It's pretty much what it is. And then over here is just all our food kind of thing. Yeah, I ran out of food a lot when I was in the trial chamber. Over here's the different kind of potions that I was able to get a hold of. We got these ominous bottles, so that's pretty cool. I can't wait to do with them. And all these are just randomly houses. All these are houses. It's literally what all these are. They're just houses. Like, look at how house-like they are. Kind of thing. And here's the like an enchanting room that I did put a bed here. So all these are normal, well, not normal, but they're like normally what the desert villages have. So what I did is that I tried to make sure though that like they are as close to what the original is as much as possible. Which they all are, by the way, except for this building right here. I doubled it up because I needed a storage system specifically for all of this stuff. And obviously the smith and the cartographer building as well. Obviously these two are different in many different ways. This is because it's got so much more stuff packed into it. And this is because, well, I added that little cubby here. And obviously that was supposed to be a basement area, which was going to be where I was going to stash all my stuff. And I would be able to take down this building and put in new buildings. And obviously the farms are new. Anyway, that's pretty much that. The tower over here is obviously a little bit different because I think the bed is not in the same position. But pretty much, yeah, like all of this, I kind of just kept trying to go back and forth on different desert villages. I can literally show you through the map mod that I have of the different village mod, the different villages that I went to, specifically to find these different buildings and such and just take a look at them. There was at one point, I don't know if it was just me, but I thought there was like a different house type that was like an apartment buildings kind of thing, or like a motel kind of situation. Apparently, they're just houses just spawned right next to each other. I did not know that. I honestly didn't even know that that's exactly what it was, and it was. So it was it was really interesting to find. Anyway, let's go to where we were before, and I can show you what I mean. So yeah, so a lot of things happened. I ended up giving up on the location, but I'll have to come back for the trial chamber. And something that we've also kind of talked about behind the scenes is that we do want to have a dimension that is just the overworld, but we can do whatever edits that we kind of want to do. So, like, if we do want to tear down a trial chamber kind of thing and pick it apart kind of thing, we would do it in this one area. Because in our, because the way that we have seen, like, us kind of like pick through that one trial chamber, it makes the world less like special kind of thing in a way. It has taken me about 2 weeks to get to the stage that I'm at with it, and I am already kind of exhausted of it. So here's where we were. I ended up journeying around a little bit to find more of the different tree types, so like jungle and all that stuff. And you can kind of see that I was already kind of working on getting this place extended onto the bottom, and then I gave up. So we were starting to use TNT to kind of blow open the area, and then I kind of just said, you know what, I don't really want to do this anymore. And then I kind of just like up and changed everything. I got all the villagers into boats, and then I journeyed all the way over there. Well, first we used minecarts until we got to the water, then I used the boats. And yeah, that's pretty much all this stuff, though. I could already tell you though that for a fact that like this was for me to know if any of the villagers can actually like escape the area. It's happened like a couple times where some of the villagers were able to escape the compound, and I didn't understand why. So that's why there's a few different design choices of the buildings. But yeah, like I use different buildings from this area. Let me go to free cam. Uh, yeah, so like this building right here, like as you can see, this is as you would see in a village. See, there's no bed in this building, which I thought was very odd behavior. But hey, I chose to add a bed there. Not too big of a deal. There's the cartographer building that I had to mirror so that I can get it over here. Very nice. I chose different house designs. Like this right here is the one for the storage. I just changed it so that it was even instead of odd like this. And obviously mine doesn't have a tower here, which is kind of redundant in this building anyway, because it doesn't do anything. It's just a really long straight up, and that's it. I don't think there's anything else other than like these houses over here. This one I kind of just copied over for the most part, and then I went to different other villages, as I can show you right here. There's Sancturia, my beautiful, beautiful thing. So as you can see, though, like this is since like I went off screen kind of thing, and you can see like the different areas that I kind of traversed kind of thing, and you can see like the different little villages here and there kind of thing. I took a look at a few of them, and for some odd reason, there was a few buildings that it wasn't actually showing up, and I didn't understand why. Like a lot of the buildings that were there were repeats kind of thing. Like I wasn't getting like the blast furnace house, or what was the other one? Blast furnace. There was the brewing stand building. Like I wasn't getting those, and I was wondering if like the desert didn't have those kinds of buildings, or like, or if they had like reused the building but they changed it slightly to fit a different thing. similar to how, like, this house design is like the same kind of like space as this house design. Like, as you can see, is like it's 3x3. The only difference is like what's actually contained within and like the outside kind of thing. So that's why I was like, okay, well, like, am I just not like being observant at all, or is there something else kind of thing? So I ended up going back and looking through, and then I ended up finding like a lot of different things around here kind of thing, right? So I ended up going to this village, which I found out I took the lectern from there, so I ended up returning that. Then I also did it. Then also went to this area too, and I kept seeing like the different kind of buildings here and there. These two didn't really have what I was looking for, except for the blacksmith, which, as I said, I kind of just ended up doing whatever with. So then I went to the village that's over here. Also, before I forget about this, because I'll probably end up forgetting, I am going to try and keep like maintain my schedule as I was having it before. So Sercacraft won't be like the main focus of like the second day of uploads kind of thing. I'll try and I'll put some Pal World in there too, just so that way though like the series kind of lasts longer. I kind of didn't want to just automatically like do that without actually informing you guys about that. The reason why is because like I'm running out of Sercacraft videos, but not only that, I'm also running out of time to do them. Because I wanted to get rid of that trial chamber kind of thing, right? So here's how I got the tower design anyway. Soon you'll be gone from this world. And you'll have your own world. Which will be awesome. Anyway. I don't want to sound very ominous though, but that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to be disappearing from here. And all that. But we will need to change game modes though. Because I wanted to show you guys something. So as you can see, I can't enter this play area. So the idea is that like I have to use game mode in order to get through. Is this ideally what I want? No. But it is ideally what I kind of need to do. That's kind of cool. Anyway. So what I need to do is I need to go down. I still need to do those. But I'm not working on this version anymore. I'm going to go with the single player / data pack version, so that I can edit it and everything will be fine. But the idea is still like will kind of stand though. Wait, is this one broken? Oh, it's not loaded yet. Yeah, because my version from single player doesn't have the light blocks here. So I'm wondering if this one's good and the other one's just bad, because this one I want to keep regardless. Anyway, where am I going? Right, to the study area, which I believe is above here. Am I wrong? Hang on. No, I was wrong. It's over here. Okay. Do you have the book I'm looking for? You might not. Ah, here we go. Okay. So, okay, Sercacraft main rules. Okay, so the main structure cannot be destroyed / looted when you build a structure. Call it your main. That way, no one can loot / grief it. But any farm that are not attached to the main can be destroyed, pretty much. What that means is that if I call Sanctuaria my main structure, that means that my compound, which is all the way over here, if my mouse wheel will actually decide to work, that means my compound, which is over here, it can actually be destroyed. That means that somebody can go around TNT, blow it up, and I would be very, very sad. Now, if we do the data pack dimension functionality kind of thing, how is this going to be, like, how is this going to work? Well, in your dimension, you're going to be able to build whatever you want. You can build whatever you want. You want to build Stark Tower. You want to build, like, Disney Castle. You want to build Hyrule Castle. You want to build whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Nobody is going to tell you that you cannot do it. The only thing that you must know is that anything can be that nothing can be moved from your dimension to the overworld unless it fits the same rule as this. So keep your main structure within 2 structure blocks length. If you want it to move with your, like, if you want it to move with you. This mostly just means, like, if you want it to be moved from the dimension now to the overworld. So it has to be within these dimensions. So it has to be like 64 blocks wide, or 64 blocks long, or 64 blocks tall. That's it. These should be your final dimensions for your main, pretty much. As Sercacraft changes version numbers like 1.14 to 1.15, we change the world. So if you want to keep one structure to move to the next world, let the host know what the file name is. Do not worry, this is confidential. No one will know your base like you do unless you tell, if you make any other structures and want to keep them, let the host know, so that I could give you the structure file for personal usage, not being kept for future versions. So, however, you can change your main moving structure at any time. Just let the host know about the change. So what does this mean? So this means, though, that it's better if I just leave this area, just so I can actually show it off. Now, let's say in this version, I wanted to use... I definitely need to make this place a little bit more cluttered. At least a little bit. It looks way too open. Let's say I want to use a Voracle. Alright, so Voracle is my main structure for this version. Now let's say during in the middle, I change the way the... let's say I don't like Voracle halfway through the series. Right? I want to change it to... But I have it saved as an NPT file, though. Like, this is saved as a file, right? Then that means I can use Sercacraft over here. Then how Sercacraft will work is that... but let's say I want to have Oracle for personal usage because I spent, we'll say 4 hours building it. I don't know. I spent 4 hours building it, and I want it for my own personal usage because I might want it in my creative world. So I would just let the host know, hey, can I have the Voracle.nbt file so I can use it in my survival series or whatever? And then I'll go, yeah, sure, why not? And they'll just send you the file. That's all you have to do. So that's all that means, though. Like, that's the only... If my mouse wheel would actually work. So yeah, so that's all you need to do, and you just need to let me know, hey, I changed my main structure now. I no longer want to use Voracle. I want to use Sercacraft, and then I go, okay, so I know which one that I need to keep an eye on for. Now, this will actually change, by the way. So you don't need to let me know about the MPT file. The only thing is that, like, before the next Minecraft version happens, you have to let your creation load within your dimension. So if you're going to move... so in my example, we'll say I move Voracle, alright? So I'm going to go creative mode for this. I apologize. So, as you can see, I have a load here. So this will load Voracle as... It'll load it right here, obviously. But it also has a save. I believe it should be, like, down here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Oh, I don't have it saved yet. Okay. Good to know. So, pretty much, this will allow it to save within the world so that you can use it wherever you want, kind of thing, right? I might put it lower, but that might be beside the point. The point is that, like, when you're done, let's say 1.22 was going to be released tomorrow. I'll post a Discord message or text anybody kind of thing, or Facebook message. Get a hold of them kind of thing. Let them know, hey, Sercacraft will be porting over to the 1.22. Please make sure that all of your creations that you or any of the materials that you've collected into the overworld are now in your dimension, as we'll be porting over to the dimension in a few seconds, kind of like in a few hours, right? And so that way, though, like, you don't accidentally lose, like, let's say your stacks upon stacks of diamonds kind of thing, right? So that's pretty much what it is, right? Like, you don't want to lose, like, your stacks and stacks of diamonds just because, like, oh, failure of communication. It's like, no, I tried to reach you 100 times kind of thing, right? It's in your dimension. And this, not only that, will make it easier for me to kind of work around with getting, like, these big creations moving from, like single player to that, because then it's like, and if you want to edit your dimension in single player, I have no problem with that. You want to use creative mode to build a skyscraper, be my guest. But if I find out that, let's say, you went into creative mode, I'm going to store my stuff in here. Yeah, I'm going to store my stuff in here just so I don't accidentally delete them by accident. I don't really care about the book nearly as much. I have it saved somewhere else. But let's say this is single player, and I go heh heh heh. Like, the host won't know that I spawned this in my world, or in my creation. Actually, I don't even know where it is. Where is it? It's a building block, really? Hang on. That's a building block, apparently. I would never build with it. Actually, I thought about building with it, but no. But let's say, I'm gonna do something that I shouldn't. I'm gonna go add stacks of netherite and then just leave it in my chest, kind of thing. I won't check chests. But if you just, like, if you're a new person, let's say, and you just built, like, a starter house kind of thing, and then you just come up with netherite equipment when there's only, like, 3 or 4 people on the server kind of thing, I'm gonna be very, very suspicious. Because, first of all, nobody's going to give free netherite for no reason. Right? So, there's that, right? So, like, if you really think, though, that, like, that's going to happen, I'm sorry. That's, like, I'm going to let that fly? No, I'm going to delete that stuff. If I, like, I'm going to delete your items. They're going to be the stick of justice, pretty much. Anyway. So break any rules and you will lose all privileges except for playing on said server. Yeah, this is not going to be, this is going to be null and void now because nobody's going to be opt anymore. Even me, I'm not going to be opt anymore. So which means that this won't be happening anymore, which is going to be very, very confusing. But then again, I have this, right? So I have the free cam. I got to remember that I have it. Which is kind of weird though, because when I'm recording, I forget that I have it. And then when I'm not recording, I remember that I have it. It's weird. What's the other pages? Help people if you want to, but if they ask for said items, you can choose to sell for items or trade. You can see the currency kind of thing, and then here's if you want to buy this stuff. This is no longer going to be available anymore. Unfortunate, but hey. And then here's the currency kind of thing. This is what I mean, though. Like, we wanted to use, like, gold in terms of, like, being able to establish currency, because gold is not very useful, so we wanted to do something with that, but, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Alright. But that's all you gotta really know about the series, though, is that it's kind of anarchy, but we have, like, the honor system in terms of, like, this stuff kind of thing. So, like, I know that for a fact, though, that, like, if somebody were to, let's say, try and attack this area, hang on, I want to see if this. Nope, this did get the effect. Okay. Yeah. All right. This did get the unfortunate. Well, it's not going to matter anymore because if this does go to the dimension, It's like a mushroom island, so it's not gonna really affect me much anyway. Hooray! And I do want to change the flooring, but that's something else entirely. And obviously, I want my maps to be normal again, but yeah. I think that's pretty much everything that I just wanted to talk about, though. So the series has no rules. It's not established survival. Just because I try to keep in survival as much as I can. The only reason why I'm changing between like survival and other game modes is because of Sancturia. But when we do have the data pack, the series name will change. I can confirm that there are some SMPs that are dimensions, but I haven't really looked into them that much to find out in what way they are different dimensions. So, eh. And another thing is that is the spot that we're going to be teleporting. Right there. I gotta figure out if it's possible for somebody to stand in between two stairs like this. But yeah. Through my testing of single player, I have not been able to do so, but yeah. You appear like on top of the stair, I think. So if it can work, I would love it. If it doesn't, like if there's no possible way for you to be able to do it, I'm not going to be too angry about that. Like if it can be done, I'm going to be like a very happy camper. If it can't, I'm not going to be like too angry about it. I'm going to be like, "Oh man, like this game sucks. It doesn't allow me to do what I want." I'm going to go 85 for friendly creatures. Just remembered I did that. Okay, so we need to head over here then. The only semblance of tough blocks that are not actually in the chest, but that should be. But I didn't want to collect all the stuff that I was able to find / we, because I had two friends kind of help me a little bit, and then they're like, I want to go through the trials, and I'm like, you can do whatever you want. I'm not gonna stop you. Then he asked me for keys, and I'm like, all right, fine, and I gave him some trial keys. And then and they ended up going through the entire thing while I was mining it in the background. You can already see the damage. So here's where our base of operations was, as you can see. Still has some remnants of it. I saw some remnants of it. That's where I stashed all the food. And here's all the different furnaces and stuff like that because somebody went through the trial. And here we go. So this is as far as I got, quite literally. I was able to get a huge chunk of it done. And I think some of these chests, I think I put some of the loose items, but I might have to double back and double check though. But yeah, I ended up going through this entire area. One of my friends said he wanted some tough blocks, so he started mining. I think it was in this room. And then we found out that we needed to have another direct way there, so he dug a tunnel over here. And then he got confused because he thought he went high enough to get to over here, but he didn't. So he ended up going here, got confused while he was at the trial chamber, at a different trial chamber, and I told him that's not how that works. You went to the same one, you're just at the opposite corner. He goes, oh, so how do I get up? And I go, you have to elytra your way up here. Or no, you had to use the staircase that I had over here. And he goes, I don't remember where that is. And I'm like, okay, well, you can start trying to get rid of all the other stuff. And so he literally mined all the way up here. He put ladders, and then he got rid of them. And then he put water, which I'm guessing he took with him. Yeah, because this is where the water brought you. So as you can see, though, there's diamonds, obviously, that I missed. And if you're wondering, what am I missing? Or what work needs to be done? Well, if we go down here, you'll see we just have this chamber right here, already semi-mined a little bit. This is all that's left. I checked through FreeCam, so I did do at least a little bit of cheating. I used FreeCam mostly just to see how big it was, so I knew how long it would take. Oh, I missed it. How did I miss you? Huh. Anyway. So just to take a good gander, like how, like just engage mostly like how big this area was. And then once I got a pretty decent idea, then I went, all right, we're gonna go do it, kind of thing. So if you're going to do something like this, word of warning from me in particular, with coming in with nothing, scaffolding is definitely a very much needed object in here. Because I definitely found times in which that I would wish I had scaffolding with me instead of using like deep slate and cobblestone. Actually, you can still technically see the cobblestone right here, right? And there's a few other ones too. I can't quite remember. What other ones did we use? I don't know. I know we blocked this off because the lava was getting in. You can see the cobblestone layer kind of thing and all the water and stuff. Yeah, we did a huge, like I did a huge number of this for like 2 weeks straight. I spent about, I think about 4 or 5 hours a day just doing this. And I chose to do it because of the fact that like I really wanted to get a lot of copper, and I thought that these are always like the best. Like this was a rumored to be like the best thing to go get it. So I wanted to dip my toes into the water, kind of thing, and see how much I could get a hold of. And I gotta say, I was not disappointed, but I don't know if I got a big trial chamber. It doesn't look very big. Like not to be mean or anything like though, but like I think this was a bad spawn for one, because we got one big chamber over here. We had one big chamber over here. One big chamber over here, and then that's pretty much it. Then we had like a giant long room, which doesn't really make it. Just because it's a long room doesn't mean it's a big room, right? Like look at how many like trial spawners there was in here. I think there was like 2, 3 maybe. 3 in this area. And there was like 1 in this area. But then like you come into here, you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have like 5 here, I think. I think I call it that spawner. That's not a spawner. That's the spawner. But yeah, there's 5 in here, and it's like, oh my word. I do want to see if there's actually any like not spawners, but like anything that's like grinder specifically for the keys and stuff like that, because I do want to have the mace, and I do want to play around with it a little bit. But as I said though, I ended up doing all of this. Went through a bunch of iron picks. Went through a bunch of I went through my diamond pick, and I made another one because a friend of mine, when he went through the trial chamber, I think he said he found diamonds. I don't want to confirm nor deny that, but he gave me diamonds, and he's like, just make yourself another diamond pick. This looks pitiful. And I'm like, okay, thank you. And then I made another one, and then that's what's in one right now, is that one, because we were almost done. I think we were just finishing off sorry about that. We were just finishing off like these little corners, these little rooms here. Yeah, not very fun when you're being attacked by these things. So they kept finishing off the spawner so I could keep on trying to get this stuff done. And then we just have this left over. So this will be fun. Something I do want to do for my area, and I want to see if you can do it, kind of thing, is spawn a trial chamber vault that can never be like locked to you, kind of thing. And same thing with the ominous one. Now I know this takes away from everything, but hear me out, all right? So you have hang on, I probably have a better way of explaining it. I keep thinking I'm in creative mode when I do that. That's what keeps happening too. Every time I'm like off screen, I'm like, okay, when did I switch to creative mode? And then I go to the chat and do it. Unless all of them were on a timer, I don't think they were, because I think I tried to go with a lot of the other tried to go with all the vaults that I did open on screen, and then they wouldn't open for me unless they have a really long timer. Which I do want to find out if there actually is a way you can reset the warden timer, because that's something else I did as well. So once I'm done with that room, I'll decommission this and I'll just throw cobblestone instead. For now, let's just go back to the compound and I can show you guys what I'm trying to say here, pretty much. Oh, I remember this. This was where I wanted to place the compound a little bit. I grabbed a bunch of sand, put it there. Then I chose not to. Then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go rebuild it. I'm going to go and rebuild it somewhere that's actually surrounded by water. Mostly. And then I chose where I have it now. Because it was perfect. It was only a little bit less than what I wanted, but it was fine. Because obviously, I can just edit it. There it is. I like how that's my beacon to know that I am, like, back home at the compound. And funny story, this is actually 32 by 32 in terms of like, so it's pretty much just like a giant cube or square. Anyway, yeah. Oh wait, yeah, I know why I did that. Where is it? Here. As you can see, I have like 12 trial keys. So, in my opinion, if I have 12 said trial keys, I should have a vault, let's say, placed right here, that I can just keep right-clicking, getting materials from it. Right? What do you have? Loyalty 1. You're not very loyal to me, are you? And same idea with the ominous trial, right? Like, if I have, like, 20 ominous trial keys, I should have the option to use it. So I wonder if there is an actual way you can possibly get it to do that, but that's something I want to do behind the scenes, right? I want to see if that is possible. Because I know you can make shriekers that function similarly to how they do in the Deep Dark. And so another thing that I ended up doing off screen was that I ended up going and... Okay, I do have a lot. I ended up going into the Deep Dark and I found some enchanted books here. Yeah, I should probably throw this into their own separate storage. But the idea is that, like, I went through there hoping to get something, like, good. I figured it might have mending, but I wasn't 100% sure. I think I found a mending book. Either I found a mending book or I found like enchanted armor that had mending. Did I find mending? No, I found fortune and swift sneak. Then I just found like a bunch of armor that had it. And I gotta remember which one's which. But yeah, like I found a lot of these. There you go. So, hmm. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, okay. Sorry about that. All right. Let's see here. I'm trying to see like if maybe like I did grab stuff, but I just threw them in here. Maybe I don't know. Either that or I grabbed it and put it in my special chest, which is over here. No, I didn't. Okay, good. What? Why did you guys go here? Is it because they think they could go through there? All right, so let's see here. Uh, oh right, yeah, I can show like where I went to go do it. I actually cleared off all the shriekers because I didn't want to accidentally trip one. Gotta remember where I hit the cave though, or not where I hit the cave, where I actually found it. I have an idea. I'm trying not to use the mini map for this series because I don't want to abuse it. Like seeing the like I find that seeing like the world map like this is fine because you're not really like revealing too much. But like if you're using a mini map, excuse me, if you're using a mini map, you're kind of, I mean, even with the map, it's kind of skewing it a little bit, but still, like it's not as blatantly like, oh, I'm using mods to get an advantage on the world. Is it this? I know it's a cave that's close to here. Was it this one or no? Nope. No, I don't think that one is it. I'm trying to remember if it's in the savanna biome or if it's like over here. I remember it was like a ravine kind of thing. No, maybe not this. I know it wasn't too far from my base because I thought it was kind of weird that it was very close by. No, this is just new stuff. Okay. Okay, still trying to get a... Is it this? Or is this the one I just went from? No, this isn't it. Out of here. Okay, no, I don't know where it is. Maybe I'm not going far enough. Maybe I'm like... I'm just thinking wrong, though. I don't know. Maybe. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. Hang on. Yeah, like maybe it is like over here somewhere. Okay. There's a skeleton nearby. Alright, yeah, so the two features that I kind of wanted to do was more... Like, I'm just going to talk about this just so I can... Like, the idea is that, like, anytime, like, you want to make sure, though, that, like, any of the storage that's within your dimension can actually be locked so that only you can actually, like, open it. And that's and the reason why I wanted to do something like that is because, like, in case somebody, let's say, wants to visit your dimension kind of thing, is because, like... And it's sort of like to replicate one... I think it's a bucket mod, I think? Is it a bucket mod? I think it's either a bucket or some kind of mod. And that's the idea, right? I know the bucket mod that I'm talking... Is it a bucket mod? I'm not quite sure. Wait, is this it? Oh, maybe. I know it's going to trigger it anyway. But I don't think this is the area, though. Can I... I'll know... Oh, I don't have night vision. That would kind of help. I know it took me a while to go find it. I know it took a while for me to find it. But it was like something like this, though, where it was like a... Like, it was a ravine, but it wasn't a ravine kind of thing. I don't know. Get out of here. I don't care if it's raining, you guys need a bed. My bad. Alright. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, so that's pretty much mostly it, though. I mean, I would kind of do the trial chamber thing. The only problem is that, like, I'm trying to find mending. And, while I could do the whole villager, what do you call it? The villager switcheroo kind of thing. I don't remember if no, I didn't lock you in. Like, I could obviously get rid of this and then switch them up. I would much rather not do that. For obvious reasons, I don't want to do that because I don't want to abuse that kind of thing. I already kind of did that with the farming villagers because they kept giving me trades that are not wheat. They kept giving me like carrots and beetroot, and I'm like, does this look like beetroot or carrots to you? And I think some of them gave me potatoes, and I'm like, I might be persuaded to change one of these to potatoes. But yeah. And the idea for this top area kind of thing was that it was supposed to be like a compound of villagers that like I would be able to, you know, trade and do whatever I really need to, and be able to have a bunch of people here doing everything. I think I did a pretty decent job of it. So when I found some villagers were escaping, I was like, oh no, how are you guys escaping? That doesn't make any sense. So one of the things was that they were able to get through here and kind of go up and then go down, and then they were escaping. And I'm like, okay, what's the point of me giving you the farming like profession kind of thing? So it was I think it was both of the farmers. So the farmers, their job is right here. Okay, so if you're able to leave and path your way down, so you path your way down to, let's say, oops, wrong button. So if you path your way down here, how are you going to get to your job post if there's no possible way of you getting back up here? Because they don't know how to use fence gates. So because you don't know how to use fence gates, how are you going to get back up here to kind of maneuver your way around to get up here to get then go down here? How? That makes no sense to me. So I don't know what's wrong with villager pathing, but they are just terrible. They should see though that like, so they should see though that, hey, this villager cannot escape or should not go over here because it has no pathing to get back there. And if it does because it sees the fence gates, then that doesn't make any sense because they don't know how to use fence gates. But I tried to go with a different design in terms of the farms though, but I think I like this design over this one. But I kind of like having both of them here because it kind of shows you like the difference in terms of like what they could have done. So I wanted to keep a roof design that was sort of like a slanted up kind of thing. So it's like the sun beams down onto the crops kind of thing. I don't know if slabs are not the perfect block for it or something because like it doesn't look very good, but I don't know if that's just me or if that's just like how slabs just look in terms of this though. But I like this little design though. Short roof, very nice. Okay, stop congregating into that little corner. I know you guys know how to use the entire compound, but for some reason you guys like this corner for some odd reason, and I don't know why. You guys all have your job professions, look around, so use them. Anyway. So once I found that out, that they were escaping through here, I was like, okay, so I gotta go patch this out. So I chose to use birch because out of all the wood types, despite the fact that the desert village likes to use jungle, I don't know why, I chose birch because it has the same kind of color palette kind of thing as sandstone, so I chose that instead. Okay, 5 of you don't need to be in the same corner. Okay, so yeah, so like birch over here is kind of was kind of like the idea that I wanted, and then I had to go to the birch forest, which was like back to where we were. I think we were right here, so I traveled pretty far over here, got like little to no birch saplings back, which was very odd. So then I had to travel even further, and then I found an entire, was it birch forest or was it just like heavily populated with birch? Get rid of that, and then I was gonna try and replenish the birch trees that I took over here, but then I kind of forgot that I did that. Look at that! All right, whatever. They're doing whatever they want, I guess. I don't know. No, rotten flesh isn't here. All right, perfect. But that was like the idea of like the different farms and stuff like that. Was like I thought that this looked actually kind of nice in my opinion. I think it would be better if it was glass slabs, but again, there's no such thing, and I didn't want to change anything up here, so yeah, I kind of kept that as is. For this, instead of like cobblestone, I chose this because it looks a lot better. Plus, it looks a lot more like a blacksmith kind of countertop, despite the fact that this exists. But I have found out that blast furnaces are very, very expensive, though. Like, I'm not even joking, though. Like, if you look up a blast furnace, look how expensive it is. Like, 5 iron, 3 smooth stones, and 1 furnace. Man, like, that's expensive. For just something that that's very selective, yeah, you're better off just sticking with the normal furnace at that given moment. Doesn't matter if it takes like half. Doesn't matter if this takes half the time for ores and stuff like that. This is this is cheaper. And then I chose like a barrel over here for all my materials and such like that. Then I chose to put a lot of barrels down, which I'm surprised none of these guys have actually tried to become a fisherman. Surprisingly. Huh, that's actually kind of interesting. You guys didn't chose to be a fisherman. Anyway, and then what I ended up doing was like one of the first things that I wanted to do was like my first expansion, as you can see, kind of where the wall kind of was like this was my first ever all expansion that was going to be for just adding like some villager houses, so that I could have villagers here. I had 2 villagers alive in the village for this express reason, so though I could start my compound. No, that's not really why. But I ended up building the houses so though I can have a village in my compound. So I chose to do that. Although one thing I am very much considering is moving these buildings to over there. And then just probably plopping down another house somewhere over here. Even though these ones are way too big for that. Anyway. Yeah. So like this was like my actually, I think the first thing that I ended up doing was that I ended up building this. Then I obviously... Why was there green particles over here? Why is there green particles coming from my house? I don't know. Anyway. Obviously, I built this. Then later on, I built this, obviously. And then after I built this, I was like, well, I'm kind of going to need farms, right? So I chose to go over here and built a farm. And then I'm like, well, I should probably move the tough stuff from where the trial chamber was to up here. So I chose to do this. And then after I was done this, I'm like, you know what? I should probably put the villagers safe somewhere. So I chose to move the villagers here. And then with the villagers being moved over here, they were safe. Except for apparently, when you're building something like this, do not go and build the foundation so close to the wall that actually protects them from anything outside. Because apparently they'll try and go above the door, like they'll go above the barrier, and then they'll dive into enemies and then die. I lost several adult villagers due to that. I'm not joking. Between the two farmers being able to and having like a ton of bread kind of thing, what I ended up doing was that I gave them, okay, you know what, you guys are annoying. Like I gave them all like a bunch of what was it, bread, I think. I don't know what you need to breed with them, or to breed them kind of thing. I think the easiest method obviously is carrots. Get into your houses. There, get into your houses already. But like I chose wheat because I don't know. Anyway, point is though is that like I needed these guys to breed kind of thing, so I kept having them making this kind of thing. Why isn't my seeds going down when I right click? That's weird. Look at that. That's weird. I'm right clicking. I left click once, but I right click once, and for some reason it's not registering my right clicks. Anyway, so this is pretty much what I do, except for apparently my farming villagers decide not to do their job for some odd reason. Which is both good and kind of not what I hired them, or technically bred them to do. And I know there's many more efficient ways of farming kind of thing. I wanted the farm to be as close to what a villager would do. Now, should there be a melon farm? Absolutely. Should there be a pumpkin farm? Most definitely. But again, I wanted to make it as close to what a normal Minecraft village would look like. Except for, obviously, with my little additions to each and every villager house, right? So the fact that the enchanter can actually live in the building that he works at. It's usually how they are. I don't know, I think some of the buildings have it so that they work where they sleep, where they work. I don't know. Anyway. Hey guys. Grab some seeds. I don't know. Yeah, so back to the kind of history of the compound. So after that, I ended up going with, you know what? I want to see what kind of other houses that there are, and I want to expand. So the first thing I did was that I expanded the island, or the compound, to be as big as 32 by 32, as that corner over there to that corner over there is 32 by 32. So I journeyed around trying to find different kind of houses kind of thing, and yada 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 kind of thing, right? Like I journeyed around trying to find different houses and stuff like that. Then I stumbled upon the village that's all the way over here. I think, is it that village or is it this village? I don't know. One of these very many villages had a house that was like this. And I was like, okay, so what's the difference between this house? Well, it's got 2 beds. And it has a little like decorative pot here, but like it's terracotta instead. So I was like, huh, that's the only difference between this and that. I don't have that decorative terracotta makeshift pot thing. So I'm like, huh, that's actually kind of cool. So then I ended up building that house there and there. Copied it design by design, except for like this little line right here is actually not. Especially this. This would be sand. Then I'm like, you know what? I want to go build one of these houses over here because I know how to build them relatively fast. So then I built it, and then while I was building it, I put that cauldron that's all the way over there over here. I wanted this to be like a shady little alley kind of thing. Not thinking that the villagers can jump onto the cauldron and then go on the wall. So when I came back, after mining more sandstone underneath my base kind of thing, because again, it was underneath that area, I found one of my villagers. I kid you not, I find them on the wall over here. And I'm like, how the heck did you get on the wall? And then I found out that he jumped on the cauldron and it got up. So I was like, are you kidding me? So pretty much, I had a villager that was I think what do they call them? I don't know if they call them mother workers, but like I think that's what they call it for the cauldron. I could just check everybody's profession. I know one of them should be the leather worker or whatever they call it. Yeah, none of you guys use your house. Also, if you're planning on building something like this, good thing to note is that you know that trick that people do that prevents enemy mobs from going in? Yeah. Funny story about that. Villagers can't do that. Like it both works for enemy mobs and it also works for villagers too. They can't open the doors. You're the weaponsmith, toolsmith, and you are the armor. Yeah, I don't know what you are considering. Yeah, you're the farmer. Yeah. Maybe nobody has the cauldron as their profession yet, as their job yet. I don't know. Anyway, let's go make some more bread. I should have more than enough. Like, should have more than enough villagers to go and do it. They're just not. Yeah, nobody. Literally, none of them took the seeds. Okay, you gotta take the seeds, my man. You're a farmer. Why did? That's so dumb. Why did you do that? Anyway, yeah. So how this was supposed to work was that like you go down here and you go down a scaffolding area. Yeah, you go down a scaffolding area, then you go down, and then when you reach down, you go into like a 5 block tall like basement kind of area, and that would be kind of like where I would sort of like have like my evil creations kind of thing. It would be like my lair kind of thing. Is it because there's no extra bed? There should be. How many villagers do I have? 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7, we'll say. We'll go with a good 8, just in case. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I have 10. So they should be able to breed more. And even if that's not the case, they might be able to detect my bed, which is through this door, and the bed that's over here, which would be a good 12. That's actually kind of interesting. So I've actually had several ideas based, like, not really based, but like different ideas on like how I wanted the basement area to be in. So I chose this as a last minute resort, but you can't use a trap door apparently, despite the fact that it's not a full block when you're using slab like this. So I was like, okay, so my first idea was to build a little makeshift little hut thing here that only had a way of going down. Problem is that doesn't actually work, or it would have worked, but I didn't like the way that the building looked, and I wanted it to look more like a villager house. So I gotta find a desert house that is within 4x5 that will actually fit this little area. And trust me, it's not as easy as 1, 2, 3. But yeah, I'll keep taking a look around, seeing it, like the different villages, and see. But a lot of them are like this, where they're 5x5 kind of thing. So it's a bit difficult. Oh, we're getting a baby villager. Yeah. So I want to find out. Oh yeah, there's a baby villager. Okay, I want to know something though. Can you escape, buddy? That's the one thing that this place is not actually good for, is it's not actually baby safe. And the reason why it's not baby villager safe is because of this wide open area over here. Because the baby villager is 1 block tall. From what I remember, it's a 1 block tall. Uh, it can actually escape the area. So what I did when my compound was on the main island or the main area kind of thing was that I found where the baby was like where the baby was staying, and I blocked it in there. Okay, go to your room. Go to no farmer. You're not going to your room. Go to your. You can't see your pathing is weird. He literally tried to do what the player can do and tried to do this. You can't do that, bud. Like you're not the player. You can't crouch. It's such a weird and odd behavior. But yeah, so even though the person that made the comment though that like, oh hey, this isn't a survival series, I should just play a creative mode series. Okay, first of all, the comment is no longer there. All right, I checked, it's no longer there. And now that I know that I could put custom models, I'm gonna try and see if I can make the pumpkin here be hidden. Anyway, but this series is supposed to be survival. All right, that's its main intended focus, is supposed to be survival. The reason why that I was switching into creative mode and spectator a bunch of times was because I wanted to go to Sancturia, but because Sancturia is surrounded by barriers and there's no other way to get to it, I had to use creative mode / spectator mode to get it through. And the second point is that nowhere in Sancturia's, not Sancturia, Sercacraft's, how long has 1.16 been out? Out for? Because that's when the first. Well, we were in the middle of it, right? But when was 1.16 out? Because that'll give me a good ballpark. I want to say about 4 years. Literally when the channel first started, but I don't want to make assumptions, right? No, this doesn't really tell me much. All right, let me just go to. I think we're playing. Okay, we'll go with basic 1.16, and that'll be that. That'll be the version that we'll use as the definitive. Although I think we played at 1.16 point something. Oh, we'll just say 1.16. All right. So yeah, about 40 years. Since the 40 years of this series, have I ever said this is survival only? No, I have not. I've never said that Sercacraft is survival only. I just said that we can go into creative mode, we can go into spectator mode so long as we don't go crazy with it. So if I go to creative mode, spawn in a bunch of diamond armor kind of thing, that's too crazy, right? Because obviously I shouldn't need to go into creative mode and get diamond armor when we have so many different ways of getting diamond armor. So there's that, right? So the other thing that I wanted to mention as well is that I don't mind if you comment stuff like that. But when it's like I'm not trying to be mean or trying to say this guy doesn't know my series like as much as I do because I'm the one who created it, right? It's not that. The person commented on a video that was in the middle of a session. All right? So, I don't know if this person just doesn't know my channel, like this is just their first video that they came into on the channel. So, all of this is unedited, by the way, or mostly unedited. I mean, for Minecraft, it's unedited. But the only way a series will be edited is if there is a crash slash black screen, because obviously you don't want to show your audience that your game is crashed. Oops, right? But another thing is that like the only other way that it's going to be edited is if the game accidentally shows nudity or anything such as that, right? Or something that can get me demonetized if I was monetized. Because then obviously I would have to intervene and go, hey, 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 whoa, 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 stop this. What's going on here? Right? But the idea is that, what was the video? It was a Sercacraft one. I definitely know that. So I'm gonna go search up Sercacraft. Maybe it might show that it has comments on it. No, it doesn't show comments. None of these have comments on them, which is very interesting. Anyway, very surprising though that I haven't gotten any compliments about my build. Anyway, it was episode 19. I remember. So episode 19, if I remember correctly, it was like right at the beginning part, which is very funny because episode 19, if I were to go into my video footage area, hang on a second. Oh, right, it's been archived. All right, hang on a second. Yeah, it's in archives right now. Actually, is it? Maybe is it fourth session? No, it can't be fourth session. No. Close though. It's close to the fourth session, but it's in a different area. Sercacraft session 3. Let's see here. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's like at the end of a session. That's very weird. Hang on. I just wanted to double check something here. Hang on. Because it was around 30 seconds, correct? Yeah, because 30 seconds I put the bed, and then as soon as you see it, bam. You see set game mode to survival, then spectator creative mode, and then survival, then back to creative mode, spectator creative mode, survival. Went to bed, got a CD plays, what a deal, spectator, survival, spectator, then survival again. That's what happened. And and again, I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that, but you're at the end of a session. Like and this is literally all that I told that person. If I can load up that Discord message. And this is all that I said. I don't believe I said it in a mean. I didn't mean it in a mean way. But the idea is pretty sound, and I feel like I needed to defend myself in such a way as well. So all that I replied to them was that the game mode switches weren't because like I wanted the series to be like I wanted the series to be like the series is supposed to be like survival only, but yet I'm breaking the rules or anything like that. No. I use the game mode switches primarily. There's another mushroom island over here. I want to go explore that. But like it was only for Sanctuaria. And you could clearly see it within the videos like earlier. You could see that I was only using it to get into Sanctuaria and getting out of it. Because it is surrounded by barriers, there is no feasible way of you getting in or out of it. That's it. So at the beginning of the session, you could see why that I was using it because it is surrounded by barriers. And I've never said anything about the series being survival only. But I also added in though that in the future, that nobody will be able to access commands at all. We're all going to be unopt, so they don't have to worry about us like switching to creative mode because there will be no way to do so. How can you switch to creative mode if nobody's opt? And if anybody says, "Oh, because you have the server, you could easily just do this," right? Hang on, I got a remote in. I got a remote in. But because I have the server, I can easily just do this, right? Oh, are you kidding me? Okay, fine. I can't spell my name sometimes. Like, oh, it didn't even pop up. That's actually kind of interesting. Like, I can obviously like do like I can obviously just do this, right? Like, look, I can easily just de-op myself and op myself, right? Like, oh man, like this is not true survival because I can clearly do this. I am such a hypocrite. Like I can easily do this. No. Like I'm not going to be doing that. And the only reason why I want to do like Sercacraft in this kind of like in this way kind of thing, right? Like I like Sercacraft to be a survival as much as possible. Which is why I don't like switching to um which is why I don't like switching between creative mode and spectator all willy-nilly like that, right? That's why I made sure that for Rosaria base, uh, you can open the door, right? You can open the hatch, kind of thing, right? And same thing with Varacle from 1.16. Varacle had a barrier sort of system around it, but yet you could still get in there. So it's pretty interesting. It's pretty good. And same idea with like with the Razzacrafts and all that stuff. While they were mostly like high in the sky, though, there was always an in-world method of getting in there, not just Elytra. I think one of the ways I think it was Razzacraft, if I'm remembering correctly. Was it Razzacraft? Yes, it was Razzacraft. For Razzacraft, it was using a Riptide Trident to get in. I don't remember if I showed off that world. But yeah, I had an area and specifically that I would Riptide Trident my way onto that area. And I chose that specifically because like I really wanted it to have that. You can't get up there, right? I don't know. Doesn't really matter. If you somehow get off the compound, that's your fault. I'm not going to be in charge of that. I'm not the one that should be in charge of keeping the kids alive. Anyway. But yeah, so pretty much the whole entire case that like this entire series, this Survival is just really weird. And the only command that we're going to be able to use, if I've never actually tested this out, so let's go test this out really quick. So we're going to de-op myself. Oh no, right? You can actually only use, well, most of these are actually because of, I think this is because of a mod, this is because of a mod, this is because of Fabric API thing. I think this is a mod too. But there's only a few commands that you can use, right? But the idea is that like if you want to go to your dimension, you're gonna go /trigger. Unfortunately, Treecapitator is the only data pack, right? But everybody's gonna be given like the teleport command to the dimension, right? But the idea is that we're gonna be using a TPA/TP like a TP accept and TP deny system. You'll probably see it in the next session where we will be testing around with Sancturia. So we So it may or may not have this removed from the overworld or not. I don't know. The idea is yes, but the execution might be no as of yet. I'm not quite sure if I want to do it just yet, but I definitely do want to stay close to here. Now, in case anybody's wondering, would I love to have been able to build a portal? The idea is solid. The problem is that we want to be able to ensure security, right? You want to make sure though that like the world is the dimension is your vault, right? You want to make sure that nobody can enter it unless you give them permission to enter it. And especially for a place like Sancturia where it has a lot of cheated, hacked items in there, right? You don't want to necessarily have everybody having access to that area. So Sancturia actually is going to be a very cool location because of several actually good reasons. For one, the biome is treated as a mushroom island. So it's treated as this, where no natural mobs can actually spawn except for a select few. Now, I do want to change them a little bit, so though like cows, pigs, sheep can spawn because only mushrooms and axolotls, I think, and something else in there. I think low squids as well can spawn. So I want to change that to so though like the farmlands can actually spawn too. The other thing as well is that I made the water be as colorful as the warm ocean. Now, the one thing that I have to do for Sancturia, and I might do it off screen, but I might collect the materials on screen, sort of like I did with the pink petals, despite the fact that they are still right here. But it gave me the idea, right? Do it, and obviously I could just see how many pink petals I have, right? But the idea is that like the whole entire water will be surrounded by these cool corals, kind of thing. And if I can't make tropical fish spawn, or at least spawn very aggressively, kind of thing, for the axolotls, then yeah. Also, if you want to move any creature from the overworld to the dimension, how are you supposed to do it? That's what structure blocks are for, I'm afraid, because that's the only other method I can think of doing it. But the thing with structure blocks is that, like, for any entities, as far as I am aware of, I think paintings are the only odd case of this. When you use a structure block to move entities, I think it saves all the data from them. That's how I was able to move all my bees and such from, like, one world to another. Did I have anything else, I think? I don't think I had any other creatures. I think it's mostly just like item frames and paintings and such. Which is why you never see me actually having any paintings anymore in Rosaria base, is because of the actual thing that happens. Other than that, I think that's actually kind of... I think that's it for the most part. Mostly just want to give an update telling you that the data pack is about 90% done. Somebody from the server did actually recommend that we should probably have a locked chest thing. Oh, right, yeah. So how that's going to work is that, like, let's say I use that command over in this area because I only want myself to access the chests and such. So what happens is that if I use the trigger command, so we'll say /trigger lock chest, let's say. There's not a scoreboard objective for that. But let's say I did have that, right? So I use that /trigger command, and what it does is that it executes it on this chest that'll lock it so that only I can open it. And then I think there is a way you can do it. I can't quite remember how exactly it works. And I don't know if you could put a radius on it. Because I'd rather have put like a 10 block radius circle around it, similar to how I have the jump thing for Rosaria base kind of thing. So all it has to do is it just grabs like a 10 block radius kind of thing, or it grabs like something that's decently sized, right? Meanwhile, all of Sanctuary I want it to all be locked, but I'm not gonna make it like that big, right? I'm just gonna make it so that like you just have to use a slash trigger command. So the reason why is because if you want to make a community chest, so let's say I want to build a community chest up here, kind of thing. But if this was in my dimension and every chest in that dimension has to be locked, then obviously I can't do that, right? But if it's a slash trigger command where you yourself have to execute the command every time, then that's better, because then obviously you can make a community chest kind of thing. And you also still have to check all the trap chests and change them too, so there's that too. I changed them all into normal chests because that was only a 1.12 thing. You are annoying. All of you are annoying. Anyway. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I wanted to give you guys an update of. It's been weeks since the last time I recorded. I'm not joking. When was the last time that the recording actually was there? Hang on, let's go take a look at this. The 1st of July. It is now the end of July. It is now 31st of July. So 30 days. We'll say 21 days of doing this kind of thing. Only about 4 or 5 hours a day, give or take. Like, obviously, I'm not going to be a no life into it. I was on again, off again, working on my Oblivion mod and just patching things for that, and also working on this data pack as well. I did not know you could do that, but it's floating. Make another child? Good. I'll wait until the child gets born before I tell them to boot it. Alright, I want to check the perimeter, and then that'll be it. Ah, see? Look. So the child was able to escape, or at least one of the childs was able to escape. That's what I mean, though. They're still able to escape, despite the fact that there's water there. How did you escape, buddy? I don't know. I'm just going to do what I did the last time somebody escaped from the compound. We have a runaway, and I don't have any. But it's fine. I'll go find one. So that's going to be it for today. Next time, the trial chamber will probably most likely be done. And hopefully Sanctuaria will have its own dimensions, so that we can stop needing to use the different commands, and then nobody will be opt so that they can be used, so that they can use commands. And remember, we do not have any spawn chunks anymore, so which means that everybody should be all good to go and be happy. All right. So I'll see you guys next time for some more Sercacraft.